Hey guys, this is going to be the last test before I open this bad boy up. It is going to be the 90 gram CO2 with a first strike on off. I'll show this to you closer in a minute. Now I realize this test isn't going to be ideal because I'll be screwing it into the MCS adapter. Not directly into the marker like the 40 joule versions are being shipped like or as. So it's probably going to affect the results to some degree because this empty chamber where these 212 grams normally go is acting as an expansion chamber. So my theory is, now, me and Rune were discussing this morning actually on the Facebook group, is that this marker may have been designed with CO2 only in mind, in the way that there's a, let me get a little closer here. So there's the indicator chamber here, and then there's your air chamber for the bolt here, and it's joined by this really small brass thin tube with a restrictor in it. Now, the theory goes like this. With a 90 gram CO2 installed on here, there is a lot more liquid in this canister than you would find in 212 gram. I mean, figure it out, 12 into 90 is 7, about? Yeah, it's like 84 or something like that. Probably, yeah, so about 12 grams is equal to this. So there's a lot more liquid CO2 in this capsule. Now the theory again is that liquid makes it to this indicator chamber where the liquid is actually still dispensed in liquid form to the actual air chamber. Now, this is just a theory, and I'm hoping that this test is going to show something, because if I'm going to recap kind of what happened with this thing. So out of the box, it was kind of lackluster on the 212 gram CO2s. I shot, and this thing had a really steep power curve, so it always start really low, which is pretty much useless, and maybe after about 6 to 10 shots, it would start ramping up. But then it would fall back down, and it was inconsistent. It was all over the place. Now that seemed to have settled in after about 100 rounds through this thing. And I switched to the 3.7 gram Canada Riot balls, just because it's a 7.5 joule version. So I wanted to, keep the FPS up a little so it didn't look so pathetic. And my best on the 212 grams, was around 220 to 230 FPS with a 3.7 gram ball. So that is 8-9 joules. This is a 7.5 joule version. Next video, fast forward, I do a test with 12 grams screwed, double 12 grams screwed into the end. Now again, not ideal. I should have just tested it with them in here against the HPA, but those 12 grams only put up, I think, around 198 FPS is when this settled in, which is 6 joules, which is closer to the 7.5 that it's supposed to be. And bear that in mind, they're trying not to overshoot this, so I would venture to guess that 6 joules is probably more in the ballpark of where this is supposed to be. But then I installed HBA at 950 PSI, which I reckoned was about the pressure that the CO2 would have been at on the day that it was 28 degrees in my garage. Just a guess, So no exact science here, but either way, HBA was half the power the CO2 was. Like 50% loss, something is going on in here that would cause the HBA to behave that way, where the CO2 is, you're seeing a boost. So the test today is the 90 gram in the end of this guy. Now, this is a freshly punctured 90 gram. And you're gonna see here, it says it's almost 1300 PSI. It's not 1300 PSI. What's happened is when you puncture one of these bad boys, a little bit of gas gets trapped in here and boils when it reaches room temperature, and it's boiled inside sort of the area where your gauge is taking its measurement. And it shows you that exaggerated PSI. So I will show this again after I fired 1 or 2 rounds, and I'll show you that it's dropped down to probably, it's 25 degrees in the garage. If you guys wonder where I'm looking at the temperature, I'm actually looking at the pump here. Has a temperature gauge on it that reads ambient temperature when the pump hasn't been running in a while, so it's sitting at room temperature. So after I fire this, I'm guessing it'll probably drop down to maybe 925 PSI, thereabouts. So I won't waste a whole bunch more time. Yakety yak. I got 16 3.7 gram Kinder Riot balls in here, nylon balls. And I'm gonna install this guy. This is a First Strike CO2 specific on-off. So it has a 90 gram thread adapter here that goes to your standard 1/2 inch G thread, whatever, ASA paintball thread. MCS also makes a version of this that doesn't have a gauge. Gauge probably not necessary, but you know, the first time I ever actually read CO2 pressure, and of all my CO2 powered markers, was when I put one of these on, and when I saw that number there, the 1300, I was like, whoa, what's going on? I thought something was wrong. So I've learned along the way as well. So screw this guy in. I should put some oil in there. Okay, let's keep our fingers crossed, guys. It shows some good data. So I will air it up. There you go. Puncture pin is, or sorry, the indicator pin is popped. And I think that is it. I need my chrono here. $194. Okay, before I fire the next shot, let me show you here. So I'm just gonna look up, make sure I don't hit the ceiling there. Oh, where are we here? Here we are. Going the wrong way. You can see there, it is dropped down to, well, it looks like 900 PSI. Yeah. And as this cools, that gauge is going to fluctuate. So it'll say it's outputting, you know, 700 PSI. Now, take it for its worth a little bit, because what it's reading here and how that liquid is expanding in the marker can mean 2 totally different things. So, okay, let's keep shooting. Oh, and of note, 194, that was probably the hottest shot out of the gate. that happened. So it didn't really start really low like a 150 or 160. It's up there. 194, the 3.7 gram ball is probably 5.98 joules. So good start. .232. I did a lot of talking, so I'll just keep shooting this. So 232 is around 9 joules. 238, going up, up, up. 242, still climbing. Probably around 10 joules now. 248. Okay. Quick stoppage. 248. I don't have my other tablet out here with me. Guessing it's probably about 11, 10 and a half, 11 joules. Definitely started off hotter with this. 90 gram installed. It seems like it's following the same curve. It's gone up, 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 but it's gone up a lot more than I saw on the 12 gram, double 12 gram, or the 950 PSI HBA. And keep this in mind, this is factory marker. So it has a restrictor in the block, sorry, in the chamber, and a restrictor in the brass tube as well. Let's keep going. .260. Nice. Let's see where it levels off. I'm gonna keep shooting and see where it plateaus and kind of hangs out. I'm feeling like 260 might be around where it stays. 254. 254, well, that was close. 260. 260 was after a lot of talking. So it looks like 254. Oh, there's a 266. Let's just call it 260. Is about where it seems where that's where it's going to be happy with the 90 gram. 7.5 joule version. 292, she's still going up. Okay, well, scratch that, guys. Let's see, let's show you what this gauge is saying now. So I don't know how many shots I've got off there, probably 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 shots. This 90 gram is actually not cold at all, which is odd. And it's saying, it's just a tick over 900. Fuck, even, sorry, pardon my language, even this tube isn't cold. You know, and that's so strange because the 12 grams make this tube cold. I mean, here, feel it. Ah, just fucking with you. Anyways, yeah, that's really odd. Okay, let's keep going. See if we'll get any higher. I'm gonna have to bust out the calculator for that 292 though. 310. New best. 310. Oh, wait. Where'd it go? Not as fast in my old age. 310, best so far. 310. 314. I don't even know where that one. There it is. 334 is the best so far. 336, best so far. I'm coming up on my last shot here, I think, guys. That was the last shot. Best shot, highest shot, 336 feet per second on the 16th shot. And you saw, again, the power curve, that odd slope to its peak is still existent. It is still there. But this thing overperformed with a 90 gram. I think this is a CO2 specific designed marker. Now, don't get me wrong. There are ways around that, and there's some guys already working on it. Johnson Smith from the Facebook group has gone all in, so as he would say, and he's determined to make this fire in the 40-50 joule range, like the 90 gram 40 joule version is designed by doing some extensive work on the inside. You know, Jeff McKay is also working on it. I'm lagging a little bit behind, but there were reasons for that, and I wanted to understand this better. Now, for the time being, I'm going to open this up, but I'm going to concentrate more on making it work with a 90 gram CO2 in a factory fashion, possibly just by removing one or two of the restrictors. That remains to be seen, but I will do those hopefully one at a time on the weekend and test this again. But as it stands, guys, I think these were specifically designed with CO2 in mind, so keep that in mind when you're shopping for this. I mean, maybe wait for the 40 joule version where you can screw it right into the back. 40 joule version doesn't have a quick pierce function like the 12 gram where you tap the end. You got to screw it, I believe. But that's not to say there's alternate methods like this. This is a rather quick way to turn your gas, a 90 gram on and off. This particular one, these first strike ones have been holding. I mean, mine held air for this CO2 for about 6 months. And then when I went to use it, it was depleted. And so, I mean, still, that's phenomenal to hold CO2 behind some sort of valving in there, because the CO2 really stresses the seals, and that's usually what happens. But brand new one, same valve. I'm gonna unscrew this, do some mods, and we'll come back and see what happens. I'll just show you again. So after, that was 16 rounds. And it's about 950 PSI right now. Okay guys, hope that helps. I know it helped me to make some decisions on how I'm gonna move forward. One more thing. I'm gonna put, once I get inside and I get on the little joule calculator, I'll put the 336 with the 3.7 gram in the description. But while you guys are waiting, I shut the CO2 off to this. I fired about 10 shots. There's still, I mean, this is a large space to trap CO2, but so this is like shot number 11 after turning the CO2 off. Just curious what it's putting out. 234. So that was shot 11 after shutting this guy off. Okay.